Hey everybody, it's Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I'm just jumping on tonight because now just my camera here just a little bit because I have this other screen, but I'm jumping on tonight because I've been working with my clients a lot this week, and there's been kind of this recurring theme that's been happening, and there's a lot of changes, a lot of stress, and right now there seem to be kind of like some kind of convergence happening that suddenly there's just a lot to deal with at once, and a lot of people are having to make some major decisions. And this is creating a lot of stress, a lot of upset. But the other thing is, there seems to be this sense of powerlessness or overwhelm. And I wanted to help you with some things that have been helping my clients. And here's the idea for tonight. I just want to have a chance to connect in with people, tune into kind of like what the energy is like. If you've got a question or a concern, I want to tune into one, how you're holding it in your body. How are you holding this energy? When you think about the situation, how does it feel? And there's some very interesting things that happen when you really and truly pay attention to how you feel versus what you're telling yourself about what you feel and why you feel it. And what tends to happen is when we go into the story about what's happening now, then there's the story about how it happened in the past, and then about how it always seems to keep happening. It's going to happen, and no matter what you do, it's going to happen. And there's this frustration. And a lot of people don't understand that, one, that belief and attitude creates it and is recreating it. And two, that there is a deeper pattern that's trying to heal and release itself within you. And what I do with people is to teach them, one, how to really understand what their feelings are trying to tell them, how to truly have the courage to be present to their emotions so that they can get the information from it, how to be present to any pain that's in your body, and how to really shift that programming, that belief, first by uncovering what is that unmet need, what is the unresolved program, and what is that fear that's really running the show. And then the other thing that people are not clear on is what they want. But more importantly, why do they want it? Why are they doing all this stuff? And very often it might be like, duh, Catherine, I'm doing my business because I've got to make the bills. Duh, Catherine, I can't go get a job. I want to run my business because I'm miserable otherwise. But there's usually something greater on the other side. And I was talking to a wonderful client today who's just one of these amazing connector people. She's got the biggest heart in the world, and she's got a business venture that has just not been working, and she wasn't sure about letting it go or doubling down or what she should do on it. And she had all these different ventures going on. And when I asked her why she was doing it, she's kind of answered the same question that a lot of people do, like, yeah, because I need to make the money. I need to make money. But why do you make money? Why do you need money that way? And it came down to what she really had a strong desire was, why the reason she was doing it was because she wanted to create a firm financial foundation. Now, this is really important because everything we're doing is to try to get to something greater. And the something greater that we're trying to get to serves a greater need. It serves a greater good in its fulfillment. So by aligning to that greater thing that you want to create for a higher intention, and then aligning to the greater good that arrives as a result, then as you start doing that, then you start operating as a master, and you can start connecting into your true power in the situation rather than being someone who is hoping, trying, struggling, and or maybe even trying to manipulate a little bit. So we've got to get to what that core essence is. And the idea tonight is kind of simple. I want to, if you've got a question, I'm going to pull a card. This is the Spiral Tarot. This is a deck I've had for many years. Is this gorgeous? I just love the story of the Spiral Tarot and the art on the cards. And it tells about our soul's journey as we go through and what we may encounter. So if you've got a question, I'll pull a card on it and then I'll tune into the energy. And then if it's appropriate, I'll give you a command for that. So be sure, if you are watching either by here on Facebook, to be sure and like StreamYard. That gives you permission to post your comments, and then I'm able to see them. And all you gotta do is like it, and then that makes your comments available to me. Okay? All right. So we're just going to tune in here. While we're waiting, I want to be sure and let you know about an event that I've got coming up. If you want to know more about me, you can go to catherineperry.net, and this talks about some of the programs that I have. And one of the things that we do each and every Tuesday is the virtual Commanding Wealth Circle. And all you do is you go to the Commanding Wealth seminars and join the free community. And right there, it gives you the information on how to join this circle. And what we do is we find out what it is that you want to attract, create, or manifest. I help you format a one command technique. And the one command is a method that was created by the incredible Asara Lovejoy, who was my teacher and mentor for many years. And she wrote a book by the same name called The One Command. And of course, the screen is frozen as I'm doing this here. Here we go. And then we get together, and it's an incredible healing experience. Some people are commanding for things for their business, relationships. We've had physical healing happen, but really this is a place about creating enthusiastic support. And all you need to do to join is it's free. I've got a Facebook group that's the at TOC Money Mindset Mastery. You can join there. But if you join through this way, then you get to, see, I have the links there and in my YouTube pages. Then you get to learn more about the one command. You get to experience it. There's always a little teaching. We get to celebrate together your wins. I mean, if you have ever really worked your butt off and really had to hold a vision and really just power yourself through, and then you achieve it and you try to share with people your success, then other people will look and go, yeah, that's cool, congratulations. But we will cheer you on because we know what it took for you to get there. And so I have been doing this circle since this last round, I think for about the last 2 years, but this actually started in my home in Dallas, Texas, way back in 2005, because I wanted to have a community of people that I could work on my beliefs around prosperity, my worthiness, abundance, and I discovered the one command technique from Asara, and had such a powerful experience in the workshop, the Commanding Wealth workshop, that I wanted to replicate that. So back in 2005, started with a little group, and right away we started having incredible manifestations, and pretty soon every month I was having about 50 to 60 people in my living room. And then I shared with a couple of people this little idea about the circles, and they just took off. And next thing you know, we've had students in and leaders in 17 countries. So I'm really proud of what has happened with the Commanding Wealth. I want to mention right quick too that if you look around, you'll see about some other classes coming up. And I do have one coming up on December 12th. That's really a powerful energy, more of a like energy activation class. And this is going to be from on Saturday from 11 to 5 p.m. And we are doing a deep clearing and healing on that day. And so we are going to be going through looking at your belief systems, how you're holding them in energetically. We're going to be going through each of the chakras and clearing and charging up each individual chakra so that we can raise your vibration so that you can attract and manifest what you are desiring much faster. But as you raise your vibration, this is it takes you in this new level of consciousness. And this is probably one of the most powerful classes that I've ever taught. I'm so excited about teaching it. And this will be the first time I've taught this class at this depth. I've taught 7 chakra wealth coaching where we have gone through week by week, but this is the first time where I take you through and we do that deep level clearing, instilling new beliefs, charging them up, and then we take you through a really incredibly powerful activation for, it's kind of like whatever it is that you want to create, whatever genius, whatever power you need, this we're going to be turning it on. But usually what we work around has to do with your power, you being a powerful creator and manifester, and you being able to attract, create, or manifest the money, the career, the relationships that you desire. Hey, one of the interesting things about it being 12/12, this has to do with about our beliefs about relationships, and not just love relationships. I mean, all wealth is built on relationships. And very often when we're wanting to create something, we have to come into a partnership with people who are more powerful or more connected. They're more established. And sometimes we hold ourselves back from what it is that we truly desire because we don't see ourselves as equal or worthy. So we're going to be addressing all of those things. Okay, I'm going to tune in, and right now I'm not seeing any comments, but I'm going to go ahead and lay out some cards. So again, my well-worn, I mean, look at these things. I have traveled all over the country with these cards. And my tarot deck. And the funny story about me learning tarot and working with it at all, every once in a while I'll offer readings on them, but there was a time that when in the early days of working with Asara Lovejoy, I was a teacher at her state licensed vocational school in Washington, D.C. And I was a trainer there. And for a time while she was traveling, me, Bonnie Strelo, and one other person ran the school, and we kept the classes going and everything. And Asara contacted me and she said, listen, I'm moving to Riverside, California. And I said, what happened? And she said, I was visiting my cousin, and turns out he has a drive time radio show. And it was her cousin, and it was his son, so her second cousin, had a drive time radio show in Riverside, California. And she was invited onto the show, and she said, I took my tarot deck and did some readings. And I went, tarot deck? Oh, no, we're professionals. And she said, oh, yeah, it was great. She said, listen, so a few people called in. They asked some questions. I answered their questions. And next thing you know, I have my phone, back in the day when we actually got phone calls, well, her voicemail, her answering machine was absolutely full. And she got invited back because she was so popular. And she said, I'm going to go down there. And she said, I've decided I'm going to close the school, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to be on the radio. And I was like, why are you doing? Oh my gosh. She said, yeah, I'm going to open up a center. and I want to present as a psychic, but I'm still going to be teaching. And I went, well, that's crazy. Well, why are you telling me? And she said, well, I want you to come down with me. And I said, why? She said, because you're way more psychic than I am. And I went, oh no, my mom's the psychic one. And what's funny is if you ask my mom, she would say I was. But Sarah said, listen, we're still going to be doing the same work. But right now, what people are looking for are psychics. So I'm going to go ahead and go down there. And we set up classes, and Asara said, well, the first thing I want you to do is learn how to do tarot. And I was like, tarot, I come from so I come from like a church background. I was kind of horrified going, oh no. And she said, no, you need to do it. And so I just said, okay, the symbols, the stories, and I practiced, and she gave me a book to study, and I had a few weeks, and she'd walk me through some readings and just, like, here's how we talk about it. And I still was really resistant because I really loved doing the hypnotherapy and transpersonal work. And my intuition was kind of a side to it. And she said, they don't necessarily know what they need. But this is, what they're familiar with. And so it's just another way of connecting in. We're speaking directly subconscious to subconscious. And so after a while, I said, okay, I'll learn the cards. And I went through it. And the first time I had my first paying client, I'll never forget. And she was there in front of me, and I laid out the cards, and it just looked like nothing. It just was gibberish. I couldn't remember a single thing. But I said, well, just let me hold your hand. And next thing you know, I'm saying, well, you're married, you have 3 kids. Yes, but it's the middle kid that's giving you trouble. Yes, some behavioral things. Yes. But I said, the other thing is you feel really disconnected from your family. It's like you're overwhelmed, but you're disconnected at the same time. And she said, that is exactly how I feel. And I said, well, the middle one is trying to work it out. He's acting out because there's so much chaos, and the needs of the kids aren't getting met because your needs aren't met, and that causes him to feel insecure. So, and she went, oh my God, yes, exactly. So we did just a little processing around that and did a little shift. And then she came back and reported, one, that she felt better. She hadn't been able to quite find the words for what she was feeling, so that helped. But then the middle child and her wound up having a really deep, loving conversation. And then that helped her find her words to talk to her husband. And so we never know, but I have the ability, which is a very long story about how and why, that when I tune into people, I tune in through my emotions, and my emotions kind of throw up this holographic image. My knowing comes from my feelings. And then at the same time, I may hear phrases or get pictures. There'll be certain things that kind of pop in. And I have named books. It had people's names pop up and names of pets. And a lot of interesting things have come up. I had a lady come into the office one time, and her energy was just like so all over the place. And I said, who is Denise? And she said, oh, it's a lady I work with. I said, okay, you and Denise have been fighting. She is not welcome here. So let's go ahead and get Denise's energy cleared off. And boom, you could just feel the atmosphere in the room just immediately lightened up. And she said, I don't know what you did, but she said, I felt that at a very deep level. So, okay, I'm going to just still tune in here and connect in. Hey, if you wanted to talk to me personally about something, send me a private message, or you could also set up a time, and I want to put it in the comment. But the best way to reach me is to everything I do starts with a conversation. And I wanted to see if I had it here. I do not. So let me type it into the banners right quick. And the best way to get a hold of me is bit.ly, Big Vision Coach. And this is where you would be able to set up a one-on-one conversation with me, bit.ly, Big Vision Coach. I can answer some questions about that. And then just a reminder that you can go to the KatherinePerry.net, and then you can find out about my other programs. Whoop, I wanted to get to the main page, and that was not letting me. This program I'm on is called StreamYard, and I am loving StreamYard so much. I've really been enjoying working with it. But I have a contact page there. Okay, I'm going to check in one more time to see if there's any questions or comments from any viewers right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quickie reading right now. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and just align to you who's watching this in the future. All right. And just check in with what's unconsciousness. And I'm just going to lay out 3 cards and see what the story of the cards is. Okay. I did not announce that I was going to do this. And if you think this would be fun to do this more often, post a comment. And I would love to do this. This is my crazy idea of fun. And I might even put a Google Hangout link here so that we have a way to share. So I'm going to go ahead and just read right off the top. Okay, so we've got 3 cards that have popped up, and they're all very powerful cards. And so this is kind of what's up in consciousness. So the first card that's popped up is the Chariot. And the Chariot is about managing opposing forces. And there's a time of a struggle. Now, this card was upside down. And so this is like the energies back and forth, people getting pulled back and forth by these different things. You know, we've got the politics, we've got COVID, we've got the economy, we've got the family situations, we've got kids being homeschooled that weren't homeschooled before. Everyone is under tremendous pressure right now. And what we've been through is, you know, every day is a new day, and it's just been rocky, right? And so right now, this is the immediate past, and this is also with it upside down, saying we're coming to the end of that cycle. So then what's before us is the Emperor, and the Emperor represents rules and order and authority. Now, what's interesting is the conversation I've been having with most of my clients. And, you know, here we're in this time where the government, and there's all this talk about law and order, authority. We're going to try and push our will, right? This will is trying to be pushed upon us. But the conversation that's up with my clients is being in the truth and the power of your own authority. And from that, determining what you want and what your parameters are, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, your authority to even have control over your time. This is one of the things I'm talking to my 1111 members about this week. And what we're talking about is very often we feel like we don't have any control over our time. Now, to a degree, that's true, because there's no way to really quite, you know, time marches on. We can't quite reclaim our, you know, lost youth, but we can take claim of our time today and how we're using it. And we can use our time today to affect our future. So this is really stepping back into our own authority and power. But what holds us up a lot of times is the rules. So very often when we try to make a change in our life, what do? We start making all these new rules. We're going to do this from now on. This is happening. That's it. I'm done. Right. And that's that, your beautiful beta brain, right? And it's that part of you that's trying to pull up authority. And back in the olden days when I was apartment manager, and when people had a complaint, the first thing they do is like, can't you put up a sign? Could you please put up a sign about this or this? Like what? Like, please don't pour laundry soap on the floor and leave it there. I said, well, I think that's pretty well covered under please clean up your mess, right? The people are the kind of people that they pour laundry soap on the floor and they walk out. They aren't going to read a sign. There's already the sign. It's like, be a good neighbor, clean up your mess, all of that. So it's not more signs, but everybody always thinks, hey, if I make more rules, I'll have more control. And the exact opposite is true, because very often what's causing this wobble is the opposing forces of trying to manage these two rules, these two parts. But what's before us is the beautiful Three of Wands, and it's the businesswoman who is considering her options. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this, it's like she looks to the far shores. What's the next thing? But this is reversed. And right now, maybe it's time to not look at what is the next thing or the new thing, but look at what's before you now and how can you make it work? What do you already know? What skills, assets, abilities do you have that you can build on? So I know a little social media, and if I were looking for a new career, if I were looking, I might say, you know what, I want to improve my social media skills, but rather than try and learn every single thing I can about it, since I know enough about it to be dangerous, let me find who is really good at it, and maybe I could build a business called arbitrage, and I could hire people. But I know how to go out and get business. So what's before me, my skills, I have two skills: the ability to sell, the ability to see what people need, right? And the ability to do a little social media. So I know enough about the language, but I can make something greater. Well, but I have no interest in doing that. But if I were, I have no problem doing that. Well, this says more of look closer to home for your solution. So if you've got a question now, this would be a great time. You could post it in the chat bar. And otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and go. So this is kind of the message for today. We're coming from a period of a lot of confusion, a lot of opposing forces. We're dealing with a lot of these things, and a lot of people are trying to get their balance, get control, and that's created some instability. But then what people are trying to do now is to get control over themselves and by making new rules. But the problem with more rules is more of this, more confusion. So what is really going to save you is getting in tune with your own authority, the truth of your power, and in that truth, what is truthfully important to you? What is really important to you? Honor the values, honor your intention, and then from that, create a structure to support your intention, your values, to support getting your needs met. And then finally, working with what you have right here, right now. And there's a lot of people are overlooking because they're always trying to look for that next new thing. But every person I know, they've already bought a course. They've already got, I'm a little hooked on Udemy myself. My Kindle is full of the next book that I want to read, the next technique, the next method. But to be a master, you really got to go deeper on the thing that's at hand right now. So go deeper, learn to master what's right here in front of you. And then when you learn to master it, then your intention of taking authority and getting control over these opposing forces is going to start shifting. And then your money will start coming in, the right relationships, everything else. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. I just want to remind some folks about the next class that I have coming up, which is the Commanding Activation workshop. I do have it posted in my feed here, but also you can go to catherineperry.net, and I've already talked about joining the free community, and you can go right to Commanding Wealth Seminars, which is my company, and I'll let you know about some of the programs that I have coming up. All right. Well, I'd love to get your questions and feedback if you're watching this by replay. There we go. catherineperry.net is the best place to find that. And let me scroll back down. I realized I didn't have that on the page. And that class is coming up this Saturday, the 12th. And you can go right to that page, and it'll take you right to the big information page. There we go. All right. So if you've got any questions or comments, be sure and post them. I'd love to get your feedback on what you feel like is happening in consciousness. If this seems like it would be fun and interesting and you'd like to see more of this, let me know, because I love doing this, and I love sharing the teaching, not only of the One Command, but I love connecting with people and helping them however I can. So that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you so much. Until next time, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I witness your mastery. Bye-bye, everybody.